What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, I'm Bankrupt, being joined, as you can see, by Jake.
What's going on, y'all?
And today, well, it's one of those days where we don't get enough time in a day, or I just don't show up, and we get no profiles. So Jake is kindly enough to be able to do his profile through Discord. And like always, there's going to be a link down below for his actual profile, so you can check it out there if you want to get a more in-depth look at it. And there's also other links down below, and buttons. Feel free to click them, and the links help you out as they help us out. Jake.
There you go. Reboot Beerus. I honestly think this is one of like the better blue leaders in the format. Would you agree with that?
It had the way you played it. From what I saw, like that one round, I guess I think you were testing with Nick, and I was like, "Oh, okay, you get 16 energy." You're like, "Nah." It has the ability, if I recall correctly, when you get down to your opponent down to 4 life, instead of dealing damage, you can ramp a card instead, I think.
Yeah, with your leader on your backside, if your opponent is at 4 or less, whenever your leader would deal the damage to them, you can charge a blue card from your drop to your energy.
So in certain
actually, I think it's any color, if I'm not mistaken.
But with certain matchups, like when people want to get down to 3 life, you go, no, I don't want you to get down to 3 life yet.
Yeah, you can just kind of hold people there and ramp up if you want. But what I do like about the deck is the 2-pronged kill condition, where I have just generally good blue stuff that is capable of killing an opponent, and then on top of that, you have the inevitability of tapping 16 and just winning the game from the leader effect. So I think I want to talk about extra cards first, because there are a lot of them.
Okay.
First, we play 4 Beerus Destroys. First off, it's on theme. I couldn't bring myself to play less than 4 of this in the Beerus deck. You also get to draw a card when you activate this on your opponent's turn. It's just all around good pressure and good at relieving pressure during your opponent's turn, especially during the early stages of the game. And it's good because it lets you get out of battle card attacks, just like UI. But you can use both of these to get out of battle card attacks in the battle step and not have to deploy any like combo cards yourself, because you're going to want to save your combos for other effects we have in the deck later on. So these are just good to get out of stuff early. We play 3 Dirty Burst because we pretty much have to in this format, because Gogeta exists. You could play 4, and like you could board in an extra copy in that matchup. I found like 3 is fine. You draw plenty. We play 4 D Magic. With Bean only being able to activate during your opponent's turn, it's harder to justify main decking it, so D Magic is really the only good way to restand energy now, as far as like efficiency goes. Like you pay 1, restand 2. So we play 4 of this. And then we play 2 of the Chilled's Army Reinforcement Negate as well. Just generally good card.
And if you were to ramp up, since Bean's not really a thing, because you have the energy for whatever you need to do, plus the extra cards that you do play are combo cards as well.
Yeah, so you don't really miss Bean being gone with this deck. And what I like about the leader really the most is that, unlike Soul Striker and SS4 and Hyper Evolution and all of the blue decks that have been in the format for a long time, this leader restands an energy when it awakens. So it lets you pull off some tricky plays, like we're going to show that with some of these battle cards here. We play 4 Zeno combos. I think this is just the best blue super combo. I mean, you could play the Vegetas, but there are other ways to draw cards, and there's not really a better way to get this effect. So I think you have to play 4 of these. We play 2 God Sealing. In this format, a lot of the time we're going to combo this off. But if it does come up, it comes up really huge, especially because you can activate it for free. We play Baby Hatch for the Secret Rare, kind of like a spoiler that it's this early in the battle card list, but I don't own the Goku Secret Rare, the Kaioken. I feel like you could swap this out with that interchangeably and just decide whether you want an aggressive or a defensive secret rare. 2 Golden Avengers, because we're going to have a lot of energy, and this card can end the game if it's timed correctly. It's just basically like Blue's Cooler. 4 of these Vegeta Rise of the Super Warriors. This is one of the better cards in the deck if you can actually play it and get all of its effects off. So you're going to look at the top 4, and most of the time in this deck, all of those cards are going to be blue. And you have the decision of either putting those cards in your hand or charging them to your energy in active mode. So, playing this guy is just huge on 6. You can charge 4 and then play a Boo Unison behind it, draw 4 cards. And then this guy restands at the end of the turn, and he's a big blocker as well. So, just solid play. We play 2 of these Kales. With the Z deck now, we have access to a board wipe for early game battle cards at pretty much any point in the game as long as we set ourselves up properly. So we don't really have to draw this. So we can cut down on copies of it in the main deck, still have access to this effect, which is incredibly powerful, but not clog ourselves up on as many 1+10k combos because we just need a board wipe. Because we have access to cards in the Z deck that allow us to board wipe. We play 2 Turning the Tide. You could probably get away with playing 1 of this card, but I think having 2 of it just gives you another layer of inevitability where if you're losing in hand advantage during any point in the game, you can just drop this guy regardless of your opponent's life total as long as they don't have a big board, and then reset the game and just go for the 16 energy win off of your leader. So even if you can't kill your opponent with this, it's a decent option to deploy if you're behind. And then this is one of the more exciting battle cards in the list for me. This is the new Rose Goku Black, Mortals Be Gone. On the activate battle for this, you can pay a blue energy, and as long as I think you have 3 or more energy, you can play it from your hand. Well, in this deck, spoilers, we're going to be ramping energy. So this effect is live very early on in the game for us. And when this card comes into play, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards of energy cost 4 or less. I think ignoring Barrier and bottom deck it. I'm not 100% on that. But either way, having access to this effect during Activate Battle gives blue some desperately needed removal for cheap. Then we play 4 Goku Another World Blitz.
Good card.
Yeah. Very solid. I don't really know what to say about this guy. It's probably one of the better blue battle cards in the format. Its removal, which blue desperately needed, draws a card when it comes into play. It's a 0/5 combo. The only slight downside is the activate main to play it for 4 energy. You have to have no battle cards in your drop area. Luckily, we've designed our deck in a way where we could probably get away with that and resolve this on turn 4. But if we can't, it's not going to be out of the question to get to turn 6 and just hardcast this guy. He's also deflect barrier blocker, so really hard to interact with once he comes in. And he could come in really early in the game for us. We play 3 Ready to Rumble. In addition to being just a solid negate, it's a 0/5, which we will desperately need for a piece of our game plan. 2 Draw Apes. Just, we need ways to draw cards. I considered playing that Android 18 that's blue, and I think when you cast it, you draw 2. But I couldn't find any. So
yeah, Android 18, 3 costs, but yeah.
Yeah. So I couldn't find any of those, so we just played a couple of these. And then with Resolve Renewed gone, Baby's Minion is actually an option to play again. And this is just a really solid blue floodgate that's been out of the game for a long time, just because it's so expensive compared to how easy it was for your opponent to counter the effect. But now it's going to come in, negate the attack, Your opponent's going to have to bottom deck every time they swing for the rest of the turn, and then on your turn, if you decide to attack with it, it's got Servant, so it's going to be a 25k.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really good to negate an attack, maybe stop a turn, and then swing at the battle card or unison that attacked you in the first place and maybe take it out. Then we play one copy of Goku Miraculous Transformation. Also on theme, I mean, Beerus is on the SPR version of the card, and just really solid deflect, barrier, triple strike. I want to play more of these, but it's got all the same effects as Another World Blitz, and sometimes it's just harder to cast. And with the 1+10k combo power, it's not really super easy to get out of the hand if it gets stuck there. We do play one unison, which is the Majin Buu. I think every blue deck is playing this. A lot of people are calling for this card to get banned, but honestly, I feel like this card, I mean, Another World Blitz kind of takes that spot, but I think this card is really Blue's stabilization point. And if they can hit this card on turn 4 or turn 3 if they ramp or whatever, they have a chance to stabilize and maybe take over the game. But if they don't, a lot of the aggro decks in the format just roll them over. So as strong and annoying as this card is, I feel like it's one of the only real checks on aggro decks without barrier that's really in the format. Z deck. One Vegeta. Sometimes we get stuck. You can awaken when you have 4 energy or 4 life, but sometimes you can get stuck, or sometimes you just want to draw an additional card. Or another thing that's possible in this deck, you have a very large life lead, and you want to have access to some of those cards in your life, so just go ahead and cast a Vegeta. This is one of the main engine pieces from the deck. This is from the anniversary box. Excuse me. This is Whis from On High. So if you haven't seen this guy, it's 2 energy and 1 Z energy to cast. And if your leader card is a mono blue Beerus, which it is, and all of our energy is mono blue, which it will be, when this card is played, add 1 mono blue card from your drop to your energy in rest mode. So if you pay close attention, it costs 1 Z energy. So you can have nothing in your drop area and have a blue card in your Z energy. The Z energy will end up in your drop before the auto triggers, and you can just take the card from your Z energy and place it directly into your regular energy, like once it goes to your drop from this effect, which keeps it out of your drop area so you can cast Another World Blitz on the start of your next turn. Because this is live from turn 2. As long as you're able to either attack your opponent without getting negated or be attacked and combo 1 blue 0/5, this is live on turn 2. And then going into your turn 3, you'll actually have 4 energy, and you can go into Boo or Another World Blitz and stabilize very, very early. Another play that's possible with that is you'll be tapped out after that play on turn 2. So if you get knocked down to 4 life, you can awaken, restand an energy, pay 1, and play this Goku Black, and potentially bottom deck the card that's attacking you now that you're at 4, and possibly just end the battle after your opponent has comboed, so you can gain a lot of advantage that way too, kind of with a little tricky play. One Vegito. We have a lot of bombs in the deck, but it's nice to just have one guaranteed at all times, even if we run out of cards in hand. So, just decent card to chuck in the Z deck at 1 copy. And then we play 2 Cell, like we mentioned before, just to have access to a little more board wipes. And this card is kind of a bomb as well, given the right conditions. Side deck, really quick. Not going to go too deep. 1 extra baby. Couple of Tragedy Overground, because in the games where you need it, it just wins the game. 2 of these Vegeta the Interceptors. Just a solid 0/5. And if you actually want to cast it, it'll remove 2 of your opponent's battle cards. Oh, Booney. this card is good to come in games where you think you're going to be crit life or forced to combo away. And you can take out a couple copies of Another World Blitz and bring in 2 copies of Obuni. And because this card can't be KO'd unless all of the after image tokens are off the field, you're kind of free to attack with this as long as you leave more than 1 after image token in active mode. And when decks like Sin Shenron go to like snipe this card, like shrink it and attack it down, they can't do that. And if they try and snipe a token and then attack it down, they can't do that either because you've left 2 tokens in active mode. So this is just it's experimental, but it's a counter I'm thinking about playing against Red Sin. And of course, you get the energy rebate off the activate main if it works out. 2 baby unisons. Haven't boarded this in yet. Thinking about taking this out of the side deck, but the -5 just has the potential to be so powerful, and giving the leader double strike means we could potentially ramp 2 energy, so it's kind of hard to like just rip this out of the sideboard. 2 beam. They were in the main board and now they're in the side. 1 extra God Sealing, 1 extra Miraculous Transformation, and then 2 East Kai Keeping Watch. If we end up in another blue matchup where it's like heavy negates back and forth, you can maybe grind a game out with this. Pretty fun deck overall. I really do think it's one of the better positioned blue leaders in the format right now. We'll see if that's true come late November, but I'm enjoying the deck.
Jake, like always, appreciate it. And keep in mind, there's buttons down below. Click them. Links. Check them out. They're awesome. I promise you. Jake, lead us out.
Remember to read your cards and know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and fluff out.